So, cloud gaming has always been a very strange subject in the gaming industry. While a lot of gamers and publishers do believe that cloud services are the future of gaming, it's not exactly without its own list of issues. On one hand, cloud gaming does solve the problem of actually having to get your hands on the next-gen consoles, as well as having to fork out a bunch of money on a PC. But cloud gaming does rely on you to have a very good internet connection, which isn't exactly possible for everybody. If you remember back in November of 2019, Google announced that they were going to be having a cloud gaming service of their own. They announced Stadia. Google claimed that Stadia would be the spearhead for the cloud gaming services, and they planned on committing to this service. With promises of 4K 60 frames per second on a recommended 35 megabits per second internet speed, the average would be around 720p on a standard internet speed. However, at launch, these performance stats were proven to be completely untrue. At launch, Stadia had a laundry list of issues, the first of which being game selection. Now, Stadia did have subscriptions for their platform, with the Pro subscription being the one that offered the most titles, and they did announce that there would be Stadia exclusive titles down the road, as they had independent studios of their own developing these games. But at launch, the Pro subscription didn't offer very many, and in fact, I don't believe that there was even a single Stadia exclusive. One of the games was a AAA title called Destiny 2. Now, Destiny 2 is a free-to-play game, but on Stadia, you had to pay for it through the subscription. This left a lot of people wondering, why am I going to pay for a game that's free to play on every platform? The appeal just wasn't there. Now, eventually, they did make Destiny 2 free to play on every subscription, and then everybody could play together, but there was that big disconnect for a very long time. But the biggest issue of all was the latency issues. As you can see in this example, this tech tester was actually trying to showcase the latency issues, but if you hit jump, it would be a little bit of an input lag, or a lot of bit of input lag, I should say. Now, though these issues were very frequent at launch, Stadia did eventually have a fix for this. Eventually. And as we all know in the gaming industry, first impressions are indeed lasting impressions. As a result of this list of issues, Stadia just never gained the traction that it needed to go forward. Because of this, Google announced back in February that they would be shutting down their first-party studios that were creating the exclusive Stadia titles. Which also left the big question, is Google going to do what Google does? Are they going to abandon Stadia? Back in July of this year, just 2 months ago, Google made a statement saying that they would not actually let this happen. They denied any kind of claim that they would be shutting down Stadia. Now, in a tweet that aged like a gallon of milk in the trunk of a car on a midsummer's day, Stadia did say in this tweet, when Blue Fire Demon said, "Sigh, incredible that I really have to ask this, are you closing down soon?" Keep in mind this was right after the announcement that they were shutting down their first-party studios. Stadia replied that they are not shutting down. Rest assured, we're always working on bringing more games to the platform and Stadia Pro. Let us know if you have other questions. However, what is the only thing that is more guaranteed than having to pay your taxes? Google abandoning a project. Google announced today that they will be shutting down Stadia services. In an article by PC Gamer, Stadia states, while Stadia's approach to streaming games for consumers was built on the strong technology foundation, it hasn't gained the traction with users that was expected, so we've made the difficult decision to begin winding down our Stadia streaming services. Stadia owners will continue to have access to their libraries until January 18th, 2023, and all Stadia hardware purchases made through Google Store and game and add-on content purchases made through Stadia Store will be refunded. Most refunds are expected to be completed by mid-January. Now, I remember when Stadia didn't have a very good launch. It left everyone asking the big question, what's going to happen to my games after I buy them? Am I going to get a refund if they end up shutting it down? And even back then, Google was saying that they weren't going to shut this down. That aged well, didn't it? Now, if you remember last year, Google announced that they were going to be selling the Stadia technology to companies like Peloton and Bungie. This was the first red flag that Stadia might be in danger, among other red flags, I should say. And in all honesty, nobody is surprised that this has happened. We at the Blacklisted Gaming Podcast have been calling this out since the announcement and since the launch that Google was not going to stay with this project. But it wasn't even just us. Everybody did speculate that this would eventually happen. If you go to Google Graveyard, Stadia is now going to be in the Google Graveyard. So tell me in the comments, what are your thoughts on this whole thing? Are you surprised? Are you not surprised? Are you disappointed? What are your thoughts on this and the future of cloud gaming? Rest assured, this will be a topic on the next podcast episode, so make sure to tune in, like, and subscribe for more, and we'll catch you on the next episode of the Blacklist of Gaming podcast. Mwah!